that, so you know you can go to him if he's not open.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that play.
So the Falcons' postseason dream is over. The Eagles will host the NFC Championship game, and
Philly.
the Jags and Steelers still fighting for a spot in that AFC Championship right now. Jags with the ball. A third down coming. Pittsburgh still has a pair of timeouts and 1:56 to go. So still, if they can get this third down stop, and then hope that they miss the field goal,
a chance.
then there's still a shot here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, we'll be with you until that game goes final here. And
oh yeah.
And when those Saints go
I've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, me too.
I know you have.
Talking
Reggie.
trash to Ben Lieber all week.
There you
Coming
go.
for you.
Brett Lewis, Reggie Bush, Terrell Davis here getting you set as the Saints and Vikings get ready to close out this divisional playoff weekend there in the site of Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis. Case Keenum under center and Sam Bradford active.
Look who's
Brought him
back.
off IR.
So he jumps over Teddy Bridgewater.
He does.
Interesting.
Which is interesting.
That is interesting.
It becomes more interesting if Case Keenum struggles at some point. Because
Do you think that would happen? Do you think
you got to pull
Zimmer
out all
will
the
pull
stops?
I thought Bradford was done for the season.
Well, I guess he's not.
He
He is back. He's back in the fold. In Case Keenum, the question with him is obviously, how does he act? How does he respond in the big lights?
Yeah.
I like his temperament, though. I like his demeanor. I like what he said all year long. I love his play on the field.
Yeah.
I don't think the game is going to be too big for him.
This never got too big for him
I
all year
don't think.
long.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as long as they got that defense over there, the
right.
game will never
That's
be
right.
too big for you.
So what's the key for this Vikings offense today? Is it again getting the hands on the ball, or getting the ball in the hands of Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon, and then feeding Thielen and Diggs? What do you think?
I think the key to the game is just to be who they are and continue to do the things they've gotten in there all season long, gotten them to this point. Rely obviously heavily on your defense to continue to give you the ball back. And Case Keenum, for him to not try to do too much, because when you don't have playoff experience in these types of games, as we saw with the Rams, that inexperience can play a big factor in games like this, and you start to press too much. All of a sudden, you start to try to fit balls into windows that you haven't done all season long.
Especially when you got number 9 walking out of the tunnel there, who can dice you up from any spot on the field, as we saw last week. TD, what do you think here, key to this game?
I think the Vikings, they have to get off to a good start.
Okay.
I think for them, their defense sets the tone. I don't think their offense has to feel like they have to match point for point. And in a game like this, when you start, if their offense is behind 7-0, do they panic? Does Pat Shurmur, does he panic with the game plan? They've always had the luxury of sort of playing with their defense and saying, hey, our defense is going to limit this team to a certain amount of points. But I don't see it happening. As much as I'm thinking the Saints are going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game. I don't see this being like the game we were watching right now, 45.
Right. It's definitely not going to be that.
It ain't going to be that, man. So they're fine, man. They're at home, which always helps. And the onus is really on Drew Brees. And this man right here, he's got to play.
How do you stop this man here, 41? Because you know what?
Last week
they held in check.
They were in check last week.
Panthers held him down for the most part, and then Drew Brees just diced you up, because it's nice to have that in your back pocket.
And that's what I've never seen. That's the weird part about it. You say, normally it's we want the stop the quarterback.
Let the quarterback beat you.
Right.
Until he does.
You ain't letting this quarterback
Until he does,
But their back end is much better than last week's back end, right?
Right.
Minnesota's back end is better
with Xavier Rhodes and best safety in the game, maybe, and Harrison Smith.
Yeah, with guys like Kamara, you just want to try to slow them down as much as possible. You usually never going to shut them down completely, but you just want to try to keep them in check as much as you can. Carolina did a great job of that last week, and like you said, Drew was able to dice them up and come away with the win.
Well, and especially in the pass game for Kamara, because you get him out in space, as you well know, Reggie, and he can make you miss. I mean, forced 29 missed tackles in the pass game this year. That's the most by any running back in the league. And then if you get ahead, you can start pounding a little bit with Mark Ingram too.
You can, and listen, in these types of games, playoff games, time of possession is huge.
Yep.
If you can run the ball effectively on the road, then that's going to be a huge advantage for the Saints, because I truly believe that the Saints have the advantage from a running back standpoint with the rushing attack, matching up against Minnesota Vikings rushing attack. So they have that advantage, and we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully they can rely on that.
So this Vikings defense and the Saints offense, that when those two units are on the field, that will be worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure. Now, look, let's take nothing away from the Carolina Panthers defense. They're pretty darn good. But like you said,
Up front, Carolina's pretty good.
up front and in the back end, though, at every level, the Vikings have playmakers.
Yeah.
That's the
You know what I
difference.
mean?
Yeah.
So if you're the Saints offense, how do you attack that type of playmaking ability and when you have that, that depth at all three levels?
Yeah.
Well, I think the key is going to be a Ted Ginn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Ted Ginn, Michael Thomas is going to be matched up with Rhodes, right?
Right.
The number 2 matchup you have to watch out is going to probably Trey Waynes and Ted Ginn.
Yeah.
Both speedsters. You
Yeah.
saw last week, Ted Ginn over 100 yards receiving.
He had the big explosive play. Right.
Big play he had, and that's got to be there because you have to know the Vikings, their focus has to be. I mean, I think you've got to say the same thing that Carolina said. We're not letting these backs get off.
Yeah.
But the Vikings don't have to blitz you.
Yeah.
Right.
They can play you straight up. Play base or nickel formation. They don't have to blitz to put pressure on you.
Yeah.
So now it becomes a game of execution and winning the one-on-one matchups. And Ted Ginn, if he can find some room,
Well, the one thing that Zimmer brings, to that defense is the ability to be able to disguise multiple blitzes, right? And sometimes you have the double A gap mug with the backers up there, and then you have them all up on the line.
You know what, Reg? I'm going to cut you off, man, but that's a great point in terms of when you talk about Kamara, right?
Yeah.
And talk about keeping him distracted. The best way to sort of shut down a back like
Keep him
Reggie,
guessing.
make him have to protect at times.
Sure.
And if he has to stay in there on certain downs, if he has to guess where's the blitz coming from, unless you say we're going to scat release him, no matter what happens, we're going to free release you.
Yeah.
But that's also dangerous.
It's very dangerous because then now you get hits on Drew Brees. And,
Right.
And listen, we saw. I was at the game where they knocked Aaron Rodgers out of the game.
Right.
And listen, you don't want that to happen this game.
don't want that to happen.
Well,
because if you do, this game's over.
And look, Andrews Pete is out in this game, so let's start a new left guard. Although Seneo Kelomente's played a bunch for the Saints, so I mean, protecting Drew Brees gets a little bit tougher, right?
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to have. I'd be very surprised if the Vikings didn't bring any pressure, any blitzes, or just continue to disguise looks what they've done all season long because they know how much that creates, how much trouble that creates for offenses. All you need is that split second of second guessing yourself as a running back and as a quarterback, and that's all they need.
I go back to the game that the Saints played against the Rams.
Yeah.
And Breeze was under duress.
Yeah.
And that was the first game I've seen in a while where he just looked like he was just completely overwhelmed with the pressure and was off balance, couldn't throw the ball, just timing was off. If the Vikings do that, that's a good start.
About 20 minutes to kick off there in Minneapolis for the Saints and Vikings. Meanwhile, under a minute to play with the Steelers down 10. Martavis Bryant just caught a long pass from Ben Roethlisberger and is now right about the 5-yard line. So the Steelers pretty much in scoring position, but they're going to need an onside kick.
This thing is over.
No matter what.
This thing is over. Who we fooling?
Hey,
This
come
game's
on.
over.
Come on.
I've seen some comebacks, man, but this one
This is crazy
over.
right now. I can't
am
believe
shocked
what I'm
at
watching
what I just saw.
What's up, everybody?
Utterly shocked.
Welcome in here at NFL Game Day Highlights presented by Pepsi. Rhett Lewis, the Super Bowl champ Reggie Bush, the Super Bowl champ ×2, and the Hall of Famer Terrell Davis down on the edge here.
Both from San Diego.
Yes, indeed. How about that?
Both
Come on.
from San Diego.
Give
It's the
it
fact
to us.
it's the
That's
fact
how we do it. We stick together.
powerhouse backfield here. And look, Jaguars up 10 points right now, and they came out swinging in this game. It was almost as if they were feeling so good. It was almost as if
gonna
they
bring
had
up?
their TD Hall of Fame O's for breakfast.
That's what I'm talking
You know what I
about.
mean? It was almost
See,
as if they had the
that's-
TD's Hall of Fame crunch.
That's
You know
what
I'm
they
saying?
had. I was wondering what they were eating this morning. What they ate, right? I was like,
How
this
many
team
boxes of these did you sell?
They are playing out of their minds there, man.
Yeah, you got your own
Hey,
cereal?
by the way, these are called,
my goodness.
in my household, these are called Daddy-O's, okay? My kids call these Daddy-O's. So when it's time to have breakfast, I say, you want the other stuff or you
Go
want
with the
Daddy-O's?
I can't eat
Overwhelmingly, Daddy-O's.
I'm
That's
lactose
what
intolerant. I
happens.
can't eat
Yeah,
cereal.
you can eat that, man. That's good, brother.
Jaguars jumped out to a 21-0 lead. I bought that in Denver, by the way.
Did you
It was
buy
in
that?
Colorado. I had to bring them back.
Did you get the discount, man?
I didn't.
No?
I also missed out on the TD's barbecue
The
sauce.
barbecue
as well.
sauce, yeah. We got some other stuff coming out
Next
too,
time.
so yeah.
Next
All
time.
right.
Okay.
But look, Steelers trying to make up a 10-point deficit here. Boy, running out of time, though. 20 seconds, clock is moving, and
Tick,
it
tick,
looks like
tick, tick.
the Jaguars are going to advance.
Looks can be deceiving, though.
This is true. There are no timeouts left.
Reggie, this is over.
Let's see. 45,
Let's find out real quick.
Countdown
got?
continues.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so 4 seconds to go.
Can't
Last
do
play.
much. Even if you scored, it's over.
This is it.
Oh, wow. This is a big one.
So, I mean, there are people out there that picked the Jaguars to win this game. I don't know that they picked the Jaguars to put 45 points up on the Steelers.
Wow.
As you get a look again at what's trending, will Big Ben say he may retire after this one?
Probably. That man retiring after week 5, he thought about it. He's like, maybe I'm not as good as I used to be anymore.
Right.
Well,
I think it was being a little sarcastic, though. I think it was being a little sarcastic.
He was. But here's what I find interesting. So all the back and forth this week and about Jacksonville and the Steelers, and I just thought this is me. I was taking it from sort of a perspective of they came into your house week 5. They embarrassed you. Now you may have overlooked them a little bit in week 5 if you're the Steelers because listen, I mean they were Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But you would think they would come out prepared today to play this game.
Yeah.
I didn't see that in the first quarter at all.
You jump out to it, you get down 21 points in a hurry like that. That's tough to make up no matter how good your offense
You are
is.
constantly fighting to get back into a game. And I didn't see the fight from the Steelers. I saw a little, here and there, but then some of the play decisions that, play-making calls.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the fourth and one calls.
We'll get into that for sure.
Yeah.
It was just, I was shocked the whole time. I mean, from the time I turned the game on and I watched, I'm like, I just don't see the Steelers fighting like a team who basically said, we want you guys to come back into our building.
Yeah.
And then A.J. Boye.
Yeah,
He said,
what you wish for.
Exactly.
I mean, I think to your point, too, you see guys from the Steelers all week tweeting, talking about the Patriots.
The Patriots,
You know what I mean? You got this juggernaut in front of you, and you focus on the next game, the Patriots, and this is a one-and-done situation. I don't know if you noticed, but
Jacksonville
ain't playing no games.
But they gave you that bulletin board material. They gave it to you, and you gave it right back to them.
Right.
So we'll get deeper into this as soon as this game goes final. The Steelers did score, so it's 45-41, but there's only 1 second left on the clock.
Yeah.
And unless you're going to, on the onside kick, you can run that thing back for a touchdown. It's going to be pretty difficult. But so you can make the argument that this game was decided on 4th down.
Yeah.
You go back to the very first 4th down of the game, which was the Jags going for it, Leonard Fournette punching it in.
Yeah. That's true.
The Steelers, a couple of poor or questionable, you could say,
One was
play
a bad
calls
play call, for sure.
on 4th and short.
Yep.
And then 3 touchdowns were scored in this game on 4th down. 4th and 11 and 4th and 5.
Yeah.
That is true.
Down the stretch. And it was the 4th and 11 of Martavis Bryant that gave the Steelers a little hope going into the half.
I thought that if Pittsburgh had won this game, the play of the game would have been Tevin Smith.
Oh, Tillman Smith,
Yeah, pointing at the guy as he's scoring a touchdown.
Great point.
Going in. I mean, he made a huge play, picked up the fumble, ran it in for a touchdown, but then he got the personal foul penalty.
Yeah.
And I thought that
And I gave
play,
a short
and they
field.
came back in and they scored a touchdown before the half, and I was like, man, momentum is back on the Steelers side, and they came out in the second half.